a quote from Browns camp that we got to get to.
Oh, good.
This is quite the quote, and I'm
let
curious
us do
what your guys'
quotes.
take is. Let's take it from Stump Mitchell. He was asked if we've seen the best of Nick Chubb yet. He said, quote, "Hell no, we have not." So my question to you guys is, we're all in agreement Nick Chubb's a top 2-3 back in the league. How much better can he get and where?
He could be a
is
bigger
game to be
factor
improved?
in the passing game. That's it.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I'd
he can't be
still
at
like to see him more at the goal line too. You know, I don't know
Yeah.
why there's this perception that we're at the 1 now and he comes out of the game. There's been too many times when we were 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and goal.
Yeah, but that's
and
just
he's
about
not getting the ball.
opportunity.
No,
Like,
I know, but
yeah.
you've seen him in the weight room. This guy's gonna push his
I
way
know.
through.
Bro, listen, man, I'm starting to. I don't want to keep going back to this, man. But
I know where you're going.
But this playbook, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If I can't get Odell Beckham Jr. to 1,500, I can at least get Nick Chubb to 15, right?
You guys remember the saying, the only guy that could stop Michael Jordan was Dean Smith at North
Right.
Carolina?
Yeah, like it's-
I'm beginning to feel like the only guy that can stop Nick Chubb is Kevin Stefanski.
He don't never be getting fed like that. It'd be like some games and even his best games, you look up, he had 14 carries, 135.
Not enough.
And you like, but he should have get 200. Like no Cleveland Brown will ever go over 200 yards. In
Not
Stefanski's
with
playbook.
Stefanski. It's
Like
coach.
he'll throw 3 or 4 tight end screens the next 4 plays to make sure that he spreads it out. He's like, yup. Hey, he's like, coach, you know we're not balanced here. All right, well let's get Harrison Bryant 7 catches and some runs in the backfield. We don't have it. It's not even. No, come on, bro. Nick Chubb can be getting 185. You know, if he was in 49ers. You see how they say, look, we can't
Yeah,
get
but they
Debo.
spread it around.
They can't get Debo Samuel to rock. They said we can't get it to him. He said, just hand it.
Give it to him.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't have to throw it to
just
him. Give it to him.
Have him run back here and we'll toss it to him. I don't be seeing that type of urgency with Stefanski. I just don't be seeing it.
Well, it's a new year. We'll see what he does. I think it.
We might see less of it. If Ford is the guy we think he is, and he jumps into that rotation too, and he's just got everybody on a pitch count, you'll see
Right.
Chubb for a series, then you'll see Hunt for a series, then you're going to see Ford for a series,
This is a
then maybe
nightmare.
you'll see Johnson for a series, and we'll have a lot of shots of Nick Chubb wearing his parka on the sidelines.
In the middle of September. It
I
ain't
better
even-
never see that.
I do think, like, I'm on Twitter every Sunday. There's no such thing as too much Chubb. Like,
Right.
give it.
I agree with
Feed
you.
Nick Chubb. However, what if 4 years from now, 5 years from now, he's still playing at this level? Is it worth it? Is it worth it
I
if
don't
you're
know.
extending his career? Because you are extending his career. You are.
If you operate under the premise that every running back has a total pitch count,
Yeah.
then you're right. You do.
Well-
but when I watch guys like Emmitt Smith, I'm not sure Nick Chubb isn't Emmitt Smith.
Oh, he's better than him.
But we may never find out.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. Where do you think Nick Chubb ranked last year in rushing attempts per game?
It's higher than you think.
What's your guess?
I'd say he'd be top 20.
17.
I think he's like 10 to 12. Top
He's
10
ninth.
to 12. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Ninth?
higher than you think.
That is higher than I got to tell you guys.
Teams just
you
don't
know
run
what?
the ball nearly as much anymore. That's what it comes down
But
to.
again, I
what's
said
that?
this.
Teams just don't run the ball nearly as much.
No,
as they
no,
used
that's
to.
true.
And I can pull up
That's
the stat. I don't want to do it on camera, but I can pull up the stat that I found last year. Teams that ran the ball, you could average 8 yards a carry,
Yeah.
and you're 500.
Sure.
But if you are in the top, I forget what it was. I think it's 12 or 15 yards per attempt. You're like 32-1. I found it last year, late in the year.
You used that before.
So it doesn't matter how much you run the ball and how great Nick Chubb is. It doesn't guarantee you anything. You have to be able to throw
if
the
it
ball.
doesn't, then why are we hoarding all these running backs? What are we doing?
Yeah, well, that's true. By the way, he was.
And we got no wide receivers, by the way. So everybody on this panel will agree. Oh, it's
Right.
passing lead. You're not winning the Super Bowl without an elite quarterback. We got all the great running backs in the world.
Yeah.
And our wide receiver core looks like a college wide
It's one
receiver
guy.
core.
And by the way, this is the stat you can complain more about. He was 14th in the league in percentage of his team's rushing attempts.
Say it again.
14th in the league in
Okay,
percentage
now
of his team's
yeah,
rushing
that's
attempts.
egregious. That's
Right,
egregious.
he carried the ball of the rushing attempts by the Browns. He carried it 55% of the time. It should be higher than that. It
I
should
agree.
be higher than-
I agree.
don't
Now,
know that-
granted, you've
like,
got another talented running back there,
Right.
And a lot of teams have that luxury, so
Yeah.
you can kind of understand why he wouldn't be the bell. You know, you're never going to please the Browns fans on this, and I'm in that camp. I'm with you. I can't see enough of Chubb.
Right.
And after watching Ford do what he did Friday night, and I'm telling you, that kind of ability translates. I don't care what the defense is. His instincts are there. His speed is there. When he got the corner on that one play that he ended up getting shoved out at the one, that was a perfect example of him being able to hit that high gear right now and get that corner.
He's better. To me, he's already better than Dearness Johnson. Just on raw
The eye
ability.
test.
Yeah,
The eye
yeah.
Raw
test.
ability.
He looked it to me too.
Because
Remember, this was an Alabama guy who transferred to Cincinnati.
Yes. Yeah.
So the pedigree is there. He's been that guy since high school.
Yeah.
I want to go back. You said Nick Chubb is better than Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, I was not going to let that go.
I mean, McNuggets wanted to pounce on that too.
Go ahead.
I did. That was
drill down on
quite
that.
a take.
Now
Yeah.
here's what I'm saying. Now when you take a look at what the Dallas Cowboys had, right? They had an elite fullback, right? They had
One of the greatest ever.
One of the greatest offensive lines ever assembled.
Ever.
When you look at
Hall of Fame quarterback, Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Larry Allen is probably one of the most dominant physical specimens of all time. You had a passing game, a great number 2 receiver, a number 1 receiver.
The tight end was awesome
Jay
also.
Novacek was. This man, Emmitt Smith, was the 3rd or 4th option. Emmitt Smith was getting the rock and wasn't getting touched, and he was walking through holes. If you look at what other teams had to do, look at Eric Dickerson. He had to get his the hard way. Not Gary Payton, but Walter Payton had to get his the hard way. If Nick Chubb, I put it to you like this. To me, when I see Nick Chubb, he's more physical than Emmitt Smith. He's faster. He has the same level of vision. The only thing that separates those two guys is opportunity and the eras they played in. Emmitt Smith, if you ask
and the elite talent that he has.
But you can't punish
around
him for having good players around
No,
him.
and
No, but you go on the eye test. I think with running
eye
backs,
test.
you can do that regardless of talent.
Yeah,
Nick Chubb's got to do it longer. Emmitt Smith had a great career.
18,000 career
Not-
rushing
not
yards, the
diminishing.
most all-time
Not
ever
if
in
you-
the history of the sport.
if you would ask somebody top 10 running backs of all time, it'd be hard pressed to get him in there.
Well, he is the leader.
He's the lead, but it would be.
By the way, if you look at yards per attempt career-wise, now to be fair, Nick Chubb hasn't played that long.
Well, nobody's better than Nick.
He's 3rd in the history of the NFL,
That's what I'm saying.
ahead of Jim Brown in rushing attempts, yards per rushing attempt.
And to me, that's the apples to apples stat that I want to look at.
to me,
Amongst running backs, by the way, because Michael Vick is first all time. But
Yes,
Nick
but
Chubb
that's
to
not fair.
me could carry a team all the way to the AFC Championship game. If you had a guy that could not make mistakes.
But to Tim's point, just a couple of minutes ago, he said the way the league is built today, if
Yeah.
you're just a run offense,
You can't win.
defenses will take that
Here
away.
it is. This is late last season. I looked this up. Since 2018, 24 teams have run for better than 8 yards a carry. They're 12-12. Running 8 yards a carry in the NFL, you're 12-12. If you average 12 yards per pass since 2018, 32-1. You've got to throw the ball.
You
to
got
win.
you got it, yes.
But if
Yes.
you ain't got a quarterback,
Browns
you
can't
got
win
to
a
do
Super Bowl
what
with
you can.
Jacoby Brissett. We got to wrap our heads around that.
No, they're not.
They can't. They probably can't win a Super Bowl
No.
with Jimmy Garoppolo either. But
He's taken him to the Super Bowl. He's gotten him
And
to
he
the
got
game.
damn close to winning it.
in
Yeah.
a perfect situation,
Yeah.
with a perfect team around him.
And listen, I don't think Jimmy G's elite, but I think he's an upgrade over what they have.
But I'm not trading for him unless Deshaun's coming back. That's what I'm doing.
On the premise that you need an elite quarterback to win today, I disagree with you and with Tim. I think if you have an all-time great defense, like the Ravens had.
Right, but I don't think that exists anymore.
Well, we don't know. Somebody's going to have an elite defense again. I mean, somebody's going to have
I don't
a
think we'll
defense.
ever see a defense like that again.
Well, maybe
the rules hinder it. The rules prevent it
I
from
know,
happening.
I know it does, and it's
Yeah.
hard to say ever, but I'm just here to tell you
Yeah.
that there will be another team that wins a Super Bowl without an elite quarterback. It's going to happen.
Maybe,
Jay,
but,
Jay, look at this.
but that's the anomaly and not the.
But I don't think we're in there.
Absolutely, Bull.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but to say that it can't happen,
We
I
just
think
saw
that's
it.
too
We
strong
just
of a
saw
statement.
it. We just saw it. The team the Cleveland Browns have right now,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is comparable or not even a little bit better than the Philadelphia Eagles that
See,
won.
but here's the problem. Here's the problem. every time
4
somebody
years ago.
everybody,
So it wasn't like that was ancient history.
Yes.
No. But here's the problem when everybody brings this up. The Kansas City Chiefs have a great roster.
Sure.
Yep.
The LA Chargers have a great roster.
Yep.
The Denver Broncos have a great roster. The Buffalo Bills have a great roster.
Yeah.
The Bengals have a great roster. The AFC and those teams have elite quarterbacks.
Sure, they do.
Which the Browns don't right now.
Right.
So, yes, the Browns have one of the best non-quarterback rosters in the league, but so do all these other teams in the AFC.
Right.
The Browns,
But you're saying that when you say that, then you're saying that no team will ever win another Super Bowl based strictly on their defense.
I say probably not, but if they are, it's going to be a unique circumstance. Like, I think in the NFC, a team could get to the Super Bowl that way.
Sure.
Right now.
Well, the Eagles
but
won one.
I think
without
the
an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
I
It was
think
crazy.
yes, but although Foles played out of his mind in that postseason.
He did, but
yeah,
he's
but
not
he's not
an
an
elite
elite quarterback.
quarterback.
Certainly not. But this AFC right now is so top heavy with good teams that I don't think you can win that way in the AFC.
And to your point of
Yes.
that Foles played out of his mind.
Right.
So you've got to have a guy that
Play
plays
out of his mind,
at an elite
yes.
level. So I'll give you for last year.
Yeah.
When Baker beat the AFC champion.
Yes.
Baker's not an elite quarterback.
He's not.
Baker spit all over the Bengals defense in that
Right.
game.
But
So
can you
what
win
you
that
need
way
is-
3 games in a row to get to the Super Bowl?
I don't know that you'll need to win that 3 games in a row. Maybe the defense will get you past the first round of the playoffs.
I just think it's hard.
Maybe.
Bengals did this kind. They kind of squeaked by Tennessee. Okay, they got him.
Well, they squeaked by Kansas City too.
But Joe Burrow had to be good in that game, right? And then when you look at the Bengals, I say, well, they had what do they have that was elite? They have a really good pass rusher. They got an elite quarterback, and they
wide
had an elite
receivers are
wide
elite.
receiver.
Wide receivers are elite.
Wide receivers are elite.
And so
Joe Mixon's
they got
a
a-
top 10
it's-
running back.
So when they got there, I said,
Yeah.
but damn, I would have never picked them over those other teams. But it just goes to show you if you can win it a few different ways, if you can get
Right.
it in
That's
the
the key.
dance.
That's the key. You've got to have, in today's NFL, you've got to have a team that can change its formula like Belichick has. You know what? My defense needs to be great today.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
I need a
Yes.
great performance out of the
Sure.
defense.
And
Next week, Brady, you're going to have to step up.
You're
We're
right.
going to need you today.
And Joe Burrow was good in the playoffs. He wasn't playing his best football. A lot of that was the offensive line was so bad. It wasn't his fault.
he had great moments, though, man.
He had great moments.
He had great
However,
moments.
do the Bengals get to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo? No chance. No chance.
You're gonna. The odds indicate you're
Yes.
going to need
the great quarterback.
There's always an
Yeah,
anomaly. or
I
something.
agree
yes.
with that.
But
100%.
in this era, I don't think
Especially in this AFC.
you're going. The only way you're going to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC, to Bull's point, you got to go the length of the field with no time left to beat Kansas City.
Well, look
to
at
beat
Buffalo and Kansas City.
That's
last
exactly
year,
where
right?
I was going with
I mean,
it.
that game was one of the
Disgusting.
all-time
Absolute
great
bonkers.
football games I have
Yes.
ever
Disgusting.
seen.
Right.
And you know what I was thinking the whole time I'm watching it?
We can't do that.
We're screwed.
we ain't got that.
We're
Right?
screwed.
We
And
got
that's
that.
ultimately why they had to trade for Watson and they did.
Yes, you're right. But also, then you think about the other quarterbacks in the division that can do that weren't playing in that game. I'm telling you, I think Herbert this year is going to be the guy that everybody's kind of rubbing their eyes on going, holy
Could
crap,
be. Could
we
be.
undersold this
These
guy.
teams are loaded.
I think
Well,
Herbert is
everybody-
going
I
to
think-
eventually be the guy that rises to the top. with
Everybody loves
everybody in
Herbert.
the
I think
AFC.
he's got way.
I love Herbert.
He's great, but he's been overhyped considering he hasn't played a playoff game yet.
Well, I blame his head coach for that. His head coach absolutely fumbled
I don't
that
know.
away
I
last
love
year.
the aggressiveness. We could argue about that all day long, but
Yeah.
but still, he's a great talent, and they've got great talent around him, and so does Denver. You looked at me like I was crazy when I said Denver.
Well, the only thing with Denver
Yeah.
is I use that definition of elite
Yeah.
as I want to say, like, if you're in the top 10%. I think you're elite if you're in the top 10%.
Yeah.
If you're not in the top 10%, you're getting a B on the bell curve.
yeah.
So you got to be an A if you're going to be elite. And so if on that definition, there's 3 quarterbacks that are elite. If you go to the top 10%.
Okay.
And I'm not willing to put Russ in that category
Yeah, but
anymore.
I think if you're a top 10 quarterback, you can win with a top 10 quarterback. If the rest of the team is really good, if you're in the lower end of the top 10, Russell
Yeah,
Wilson
but to me, that's
isn't-
not elite. Top
No,
10.
I don't
You're
think
in
Russell
the top
Wilson-
third of the league.
Right.
Yeah,
But I don't think Russell Wilson's elite, but I think he's very good, and I love their backfield, which is right there with the Browns.
Yeah, I like
because
their
Javonte
backfield a lot,
Williams
too,
is a
but
star, and Melvin Gordon's underrated.
I just look
They've
at
got
their
good
division.
receivers.
I look at their division.
Right, but I'm saying
you got to
that's
play
what-
the Chargers
it's
twice.
tough.
You got to play
The
the
Bills are in the best spot because I don't think their division's any good.
I'm gonna be
the Jets
honest.
stink.
Yeah.
The
Raiders,
I don't buy the Dolphins. And the Raiders are really good.
I know,
Raiders,
listen,
the
the
Raiders
NFC
are much
West,
improved.
It's loaded.
Much
It is an
improved.
absolute.
And we're all
mind
ignoring the
blower.
Ravens, who are going to be good if Lamar Jackson stays healthy.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, so it's,
You're right.
that's
The
just
West.
why.
Is the
You're
West the best division in football? The AFC West.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think
close.
so.
It could.
not close.
I could wind up being the North.
The
The North
it
is
could
good.
wind up
I
being
mean, there's
the North.
question marks in the North. We don't know about Baltimore. We think we do. But
Hold on, Jay.
Pittsburgh's
Jay,
a
Jay,
question
Jay.
mark.
Let me end this debate for you real quick. In the
It's not a
AFC West
debate for me.
No, I'm just saying.
It's not a debate for me.
In
I
the
say it's the
AFC
West, hands down.
There's Mahomes. There's Russell Wilson.
Yep.
There's Justin Herbert, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
Derek Carr. And in the North, there's possibly Mitchell Trubisky / Kenny Pickett. There's possibly Jacoby Brissett / Josh Rosen / Josh Dobbs / Jimmy Garoppolo /
Yeah.
whoever, and that ends the discussion right
Yeah.
now.
No,
I mean,
you're right.
for right
I'm
now.
counting Watson in that.
But
and I
next
probably
year, if
shouldn't
you have
be.
Watson and Burrow and Trubisky, ends up being the guy that Aditi and a lot of people in Pittsburgh
Pickett.
thinks that he can be, or Pickett. And obviously, if Jackson returns to the guy that we think he can be in Baltimore, then I'm saying, okay, AFC North, AFC West, it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah.
But my God, I would not want to be in the West right now.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick about the topic we're on?
Yeah.
Make a prediction for me. What is the least amount of passing attempts the Browns call this year in a win? Are we going to see a game where Brissett throws 12 passes and the Browns win?
No, not that.
I would
not
say
that
17.
I would say 17 or 19.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it's under 20. 20 would be my number.
I could see them win one game in the teens.
Well, if
One.
it's December and it's
It's
30
a freak
below.
game. You're playing.
Yeah, there's always that possibility.
There's the one freak game.
40 mile an hour winds on the lakefront.
But you're not winning many games that way.
But I will say this. I might be a throwback, but if they can turn it ugly, right, and somehow they can get past this and get to a point where, I don't know, Deshaun Watson does come back, and they're playing here in December and January, that is the ultimate equalizer to me.
But you can win that way against the bad teams. You can win that way against mediocre. You can't consistently win against good teams that way.
Well, here's what I'm saying.
Especially good teams that play in cold weather.
Yes,
If you
that's
get,
true.
I'd rather play Herbert and Patrick Mahomes and Derek Carr. All of them, I would like to play them here. Like Josh Allen, it might be a wash, but if you telling me that I can get them here, and I got a running game, and I got a defense, and I can get after the quarterback, I got a chance here.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I think the Bills are nearly a shoo-in to be the 1 seed because of their divisions. Other people might like New England and Miami more than I do. I don't buy either of those teams.
I never sell New England short. I mean, they're not going to win the division.
And the South stinks, but whoever wins that division, I don't think is very good.
Think about
No.
it. And we ain't even talked about the Titans or the Colts, and they aren't bad. The Titans consistently make the playoffs every year.
Yeah, but you know what? You'd pick them in the West last.
Yes.
Maybe
Well, one
you
of those
pick
teams
Denver.
has to make
Maybe
the
you pick
playoffs,
them.
though.
One of them got to make it.
Right, but think between the North and the West, at most you can have is 5 playoff teams. So 3 of those 8 teams are not making the playoffs. And if Watson doesn't play the whole season, the Browns are probably
one of
the
those
3.
teams that are not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you're
Well,
right.
it looks
yeah.
like we just talked ourselves all the way down.
All right, we'll see you in 2023. Thanks for
Let's go
watching, everybody.
home. Woo!
Now, the good thing about this is why I love sports. If you pull tapes or you pull columns through the years, the one thing I love doing this with the most is the draft. You go back and you read
my
Sports
God,
Illustrated.
yeah.
I used to always save the Sports Illustrated, and I would go back 6-7 years, and I would read the post-draft.
Oh,
and,
man.
and
The draft grades.
You're talking about guys that staked their careers on the idea that Peyton Manning was not going to be as good
Right.
as Ryan Leaf
Leaf.
as a professional. And when you read that, you're like, oh my God, that's cringeworthy. I can never believe another word I hear fall out of Mel Kiper's mouth.
Well, that's why
again.
That's why I love freezing cold takes on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Because
so great.
He's
Great.
gotten me a couple of times, which I love. I think it's
Has he
hilarious.
really?
Oh,
Yeah. One time it was for a Brandon Whedon tweet because I thought Brandon Whedon was going to be really good.
Oh, that is a
I was
terrible
convinced
tweet.
Brandon Whedon was going to be good.
Have you been catfished by a player? What's the player that you thought that was
It's a
so
great question, G. Bush.
so
Yeah, it
good,
is a good one.
that you thought you put your reputation on? You was caping, putting the
that's a
cape on,
good one.
and he
I have a bad
catfished you.
one.
He showed up 2 years later. You like, bro, I can't believe I went that hard for that man.
All right, I died
Anthony
on
Bennett.
No,
Oh my
That was
God.
Lima.
I died on the hill for Mike Miller when he came to the Cavs for that 1 year. Not quite what you were saying, but I kept saying, "Listen, he's going to win you a playoff game. He's
yeah,
going
right,
to win
you
you a
did say
playoff game." And one day he was leaving the facility, and he's like, "Don't give up on me yet." I was like, "I got you," and he just let me die on that hill.
Yeah, you died on that
It
hill.
was
Yours is
awful.
Brandon Whedon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think he was going to be a superstar, but I thought he was. But I thought he was going to be a good player.
I'm kind of between you two
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I didn't think he was going to be a good player. I thought he was going to be a long-time solution for the Browns quarterback
Yes.
question. I thought Brady Quinn was that guy. I did. I really thought Brady Quinn was going to have an 8 to 10 year career
Yeah.
here where he played in some playoff games.
Mine's
Man.
is probably the most disturbing and the worst. Of all
Just
time.
don't say Johnny
What's
Manziel and you're okay.
That's mine.
Kellen Winslow is worse.
Oh.
Yeah,
A lot of guys thought Kellen Winslow was going to be
I
that
thought-
dude.
At least he had a good year.
I
had
thought
one
he
good
was.
year.
I thought he was the next. Then he got hurt on that bike, and then he was never the same. He lost 2-3 steps, and Then there's later on in his career,
went
you
to
already
prison.
you went to prison now.
He's still in prison, right?
Mike thought Johnny Manziel was going to be good.
So let's
I
go
do
back
too.
in time machine real quick.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
was in college, I started a blog with a couple friends, and we ended up getting bought out by Fox Sports. It got pretty big.
Wow.
Look at you.
And I did a whole series on why Johnny Manziel should be the first pick in the draft. I convinced.
And
this
Fox
was-
Sports still bought it, huh?
Yes, they did. And
Wow.
this was before I never stepped in Texas. I had no ties to A&M.
What did you see in him that made you think that he's
that stupid
dude?
it factor that you can't really write about that
Yeah.
I tried to write thousands and thousands of words about.
Hey.
Yeah, I just thought there was something different about him that was going to translate to the NFL, and I broke down. This one I thought I was cool. I could break down the game film, watch the throws from different angles, and he torched Alabama, and I was like, all right, he can do it
I'll
against
tell
those
you that
defenses.
that to me
Yeah.
was in the check. That checked the box of he could do that. Because when you do it against Alabama, that's a
Right.
different level.
In
All those
Tuscaloosa.
guys
I
are going to
was
play in
in
the league.
Tuscaloosa.
In Tuscaloosa.
I was down on him the whole time leading up to the draft, and then the week before, I talked myself into him.
You didn't talk Jimmy into it. You weren't the homeless guy, were you?
No. But I was excited. when they drafted. I got caught up in the moment.
I was a huge scamzel. Because he's the only white dude I've ever seen run away from black dudes. Like
What?
No, he's the only
he's
white
right.
guy
He did.
that I've seen.
Run away.
in the
Yeah.
SEC.
Yeah.
Get the football and be running like a little kid. And I'm like, bro, he's running away from LSU and Alabama and going to that. He had like 1,500 on the ground, just doing this, moving around.
I thought Bradley Zimmer was going to be good.
I thought Matt Laporta was going to be good.
Oh, Matt Laporte.
Yeah, well, I think we all bought it on Laporta. You know, to your point about Manziel, and
Yeah.
I was always concerned about his size.
Yeah.
But the way he played, I thought he could overcome it. I'm still convinced that if you could have taken another person's personality and put it into Johnny Manziel, and I'm talking about a guy with unrivaled work ethic, and he didn't take this as a big joke, I think he could have stuck around for a while
Yeah.
longer.
If you would take Baker Mayfield's mentality and put it in Johnny Manziel's body, I think Johnny Manziel would have worked. Because Johnny Manziel, the difference between Baker
I thought,
and
looking
Baker
back
and
on it,
Johnny,
Baker's kind of Johnny Light.
no, but
With his attitude, and he doesn't
But-
want to listen to anything or anybody.
But
Yeah.
the thing about Johnny is Johnny don't care about
He don't care about anything.
nothing.
No, he's a
he
bum.
don't care
Yeah,
about
and neither did-
football. None of that.
No.
No, he
he's
cared
a bum.
about partying.
That's it.
And
That's
then after he washed out, now he wants to be a football player. And it doesn't work that way.
Right,
You were
right.
given a gift. You
Yeah.
wasted it. You don't get a fourth chance. I mean, he went to the CFL. He did all of that nonsense. I just would have loved to have seen what would have happened if Johnny came into the league and said, I'm cutting ties with all my boys. I've got no more entourage. I'm not going to Vegas with a disguise. I'm going to practice my ass off. I'm going to work harder than anybody else in the facility. And I'm going to maximize my gifts.
tell me-
What he could have been.
Here's whose personality and soul you'd want in him. Colt McCoy. Right?
Yes.
Look, Colt McCoy
Yeah, Colt got more
doesn't
out
have
of-
much talent.
No, he got way more out of his body
Look how
than
long
he
he's
should
been in the league.
I know, it's insane.
Even
He'll
Johnny,
be a backup for 20 years,
even
probably.
though Johnny didn't care about nothing, think
Yeah.
of what he
Ben
did
won
against
for over 10.
Tennessee Titans game. He single-handedly won the Titans.
He played that
game.
one good game. That was a game.
It was a great game.
Should have stayed out of the
Now,
high
Nuggets,
rollers
you have
room.
some traffic you got to take care of?
Yeah, we
What's
got
up?
to do top 5 here, which